Okay, now last session we studied about dishonoring checks, the concept, and then the dishonoring of checks where the dishonored check is a deposited check. Okay. Now we are going to talk about dishonoring of checks where the check is a issued check, not a deposited check, issued check. Okay. So we have already discussed when the checks are issued, relevant expense account and the uh, other relevant account will be debited and bank account is credited because we are issuing the check and my bank balance is going down. Because of that, I am debiting my expenses account and crediting my bank account. Okay. When such a issued check is dishonored by the bank, okay, when it is dishonored by the bank, the entries that were originally should be reversed. අපි issued check එකකුත් dishonored වුණොත් what we have to do is we have to reverse the original records. Okay. This is done by reversal entry to the entry that was recorded originally when the check was issued. Check එක issue කරද්දී කරන original entry එක තමයි අපි reverse කරන්නේ. Then අපි බලමු what is the double entry for dishonored of issued checks. Especially it is issued checks. So what is happening when we are issuing checks? When we are issuing checks initially, what happens is we are crediting the bank account first time. Okay, we are crediting the bank account and we are debiting the expense account. Now this issued check has been dishonored. So what we have to do is we have to reverse the entries. Their bank account will be debited and expense account will be credited. That is a double entry. Okay. So it's same here. For example, let's say a check issued by a business to a creditor of rupees 15,000 was dishonored when presented to the bank. A check issued by the business to a creditor of rupees 15,000 was dishonored when presented to the bank. When this information is received, the double entry for the dishonored check is as follows. Bank account එක 15,000 වලින් debit කරනවා, creditors account එක 15,000 වලින් credit කරනවා. ඒ කියන්නේ අර මුලින්ම වෙච්ච එකේ රිවර්සල් එකක් තමයි වෙන්නේ. මුලින්ම මොකක්ද උනේ? මුලින්ම බැංක් account එක අපි credit කරනවා check එක issue කරපු නිසා. ඒ වගේම creditors balance එක අඩු වුණ නිසා creditors account එක debit කරනවා. Then as this issued check is dishonored, we are reversing the entries. Bank account we are debiting by 15,000, whereas creditors account we are crediting by 15,000. So do you have any questions? It's okay. It's okay, Jay. Sure. No worries. Do you all have any questions, or else shall we move on to the note? So if you have any questions, if you refuse to speak, drop me a WhatsApp or drop me a message on Zoom. Okay. Then you can start writing this note. I will read it out once and then you can start writing this. It is already discussed that when checks are issued, the relevant expense account or other relevant account should be debited and bank account should be credited. When such an issued check is dishonored by the bank, entries that were originally recorded should be reversed. This is done by a reversal entry to the entry that was recorded originally when the check was issued. Accordingly, the double entry for the dishonored issued check should be recorded as follows. Bank account debit, expenses account, relevant other account credit. Example, a check issued by the business to a creditor of rupees 15,000 was dishonored when presented to the bank. When this information is received, the double entry for the dishonored check is as follows. Bank account debited by 15,000, creditor's account credited by 15,000. Take about 3 minutes and complete this note. So when it is 8:07, I will move forward. 8:07. අපි මේක ඉවර වෙලා what we are supposed to do is a question, but since we have limited time, what I will do is I will straightforward move on to bank overdraft section. Okay, then on the next day we will start the question. Next day also we'll try to start 15 minutes early as today, and then we will straight away move from the question. Okay. So hopefully if we finish the lessons quickly, then we can, one thing we can do questions, and then the next thing is we can move on to grade 11 syllabus quicker. And baseline understanding is to finish off the syllabus quickly and do more practice questions and past paper questions. So you will understand this theory thoroughly. And note also, if you have missed anything, I have sent the note on the WhatsApp, all the previous notes. Please look into them. Do not wait until the last moment. Do not wait until the exams. Please complete them. Okay. All the necessary details are in, you have received to your WhatsApp accounts. Now 1 minute remaining. Shall I move forward? Students. Shall I move on to next slide?
Wait, sir.
Okay. Let me, once you finish, please tell me.
Done, sir.
Okay, ideally what we are supposed to do is we are supposed to do this question, but we do not have time now, no? It's 8:08, no? Because of that, we will straight away move on to this bank overdraft. Okay. Then when we have a current account and when we have a checkbook, we will get a benefit. Benefit, can someone say what is that benefit? Any idea? Other than doing a business on cash basis, when we are having a current account, we are having a benefit. Can anyone suggest that benefit? Benefit එක තමයි, now let's say now if we are doing business on cash basis, I have to give cash during the time of the settlement, or I have to give the cash on the time of the business. But when I have a check, I can issue a check even without money in my account. අපිට check එක කියන එක අපේ account එකේ සල්ලි නැතුවත් issue කරන්න පුළුවන්. Okay. There are situations where bank allow their customer to issue checks for more than existing balance in their current account. And this facility is known as bank overdraft. Okay. If the business issues checks exceeding the existing balance, the total of the credit side of the bank account of the business exceeds the total of the debit side of the bank account. අපි දන්නවා bank account එක කියන්නේ asset account එකක්. එතකොට ideally bank account එකේ තියෙන ඕනේ debit balance එකක්. සාමාන්‍යයෙන් bank account එකේ සල්ලි තියෙනවා කියලා කියන්නේ there is a debit balance. But what happens is more than that debit balance you have issued checks. So if you have issued checks more than your debit balance, ultimately you will end up with the credit balance in the bank account. Okay, you will end up with a credit balance in the bank account. එතකොට, if you have a credit balance in the bank account, then ideally you are having an overdraft balance. Okay, so business is the total of the credit side of the bank account of the business exceeds the total of the debit side of the bank account when you are in an overdraft. Okay, so as a result, a credit balance appears in the bank account. This credit balance of the bank account is known as the bank overdraft. As I said, if you have a credit balance in the bank account, එතකොට අපිට තියෙන්නේ bank overdraft එක. Bank overdraft එක, what is it? It is a liability. Now, usually in the bank account is considered as an asset account, but because of this overdraft facility, bank account can become a liability if the credit side is more than the debit side. If there is a credit balance that is like sort of like outline, then එතකොට අපි කියනවා liability එකක් තියෙන්නේ overdraft balance එකක් තියෙන්නේ කියලා. Accordingly, when checks are issued in excess of the existing bank balance, when bank make the payments on them, account holder becomes a debtor to the bank. එතකොට bank එක පැත්තෙන් බලුවම bank එකට මේ customer debtor කෙනෙක් වෙනවා. bank account එක bank balance එක, ඒ කියන්නේ bank account එක business එකට liability එකක් වෙනවා. ඒ වගේම business එක bank එකට receivable එකක් වෙනවා. හරිද? එහෙම නැත්නම් debtor කෙනෙක් වෙනවා. මේ ටික තේරුණාද? Did you understand this concept? Guys, tell me, did you understand this?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, tell me, Danushka.
Sir,
Yeah.
what is the difference between bank loan and overdraft, sir?
Okay, now, if you look at a bank loan, Puta, what happens is, now let's say there is a person called Saman. Okay, Saman has a current account, and Saman also wants a bank loan. In a bank loan, what happens is someone is going to the bank and telling to the bank manager, "Hi manager, I want to take a bank loan." Okay, then bank loan, most of the time it is a pre-arranged facility, and bank loan is usually a longer tenor commitment. ඒ කියන්නේ bank loan එකක් අපි ගන්නේ, we are taking it for I mean the repayment is long term. You are paying it on an installment basis. When it comes to accounts, bank loan එකේ the amount that you are supposed to pay beyond the first year, ඒ කියන්නේ අවුරුද්දට එහා පැත්තෙන් ගෙවන්න ඕන ටික එන්නේ non current liability එකක් විදිහට. හරිද? හැබැයි bank overdraft එක කියන එක ඒ වගේ ගොඩක් සමහරක් වෙලාවට bank overdraft එකක් over the phone ගන්න පුළුවන්. You can take a bank overdraft over the phone or a relatively simple mechanism. හරිද? But there are several instances, I will say, even in the bank overdraft, you have permanent overdraft facility, permanent POD and TOD, temporary overdraft facility. සාමාන්‍යයෙන් temporary overdraft facility එකක් වගේ දෙන තමයි මේකෙදි කතා වෙන්නේ. හැබැයි that is not the case, even a permanent overdraft facility වට ගන්න පුළුවන්. ඒ overdraft facilities usually they are short tenor. You have to settle the overdraft in a small period of time. Whereas bank loans, you can pay in installments and you can settle it over a long period of time. And bank loans, usually you are taking it for larger developments. Let's say you want to renovate your shop or you want to build your shop. But when you take bank overdraft you are taking it for your working capital purpose. ඒ කියන්නේ ඔයාගේ business එකේ තියෙන working capital ඔයාට බඩු ටික ගන්න, debtors ලා මොන හරි ගෙවන්න පරක් වෙනවා නම් ඒකේ roll එක අද ගන්න. ඒ වගේ තමයි bank overdraft එක ගන්න. අර සාමාන්‍ය bank loan එක කියන එක ඇවිල්ලා අපි ගන්න අපේ ලොකු මොන හරි purpose එකක් තිබ්බොත් මොන හරි development එකකට ඒ වගේ දෙයකට ගන්න. මෙහෙම working capital loans උත් තියෙනවා. හැබැයි අර bank overdraft එක usually you are supposed to settle it within a short period of time, and you can even take it over the phone. Okay, if it is a temporary overdraft facility. And bank overdraft is not a very big amount. Usually it's a small amount compared to bank loan. Bank loans you can go for a bigger amounts, but bank overdraft, if it is a temporary overdraft, you cannot take a big OD. You can take only a small OD for the settlement. පොඩි check එකක් ගෙවා ගන්න. But bank loan is otherwise. Did you get some understanding of these two concepts? Are there any questions? Anushkan, is it okay?
Yes, sir. Clear, sir.
Are there any questions, guys? Then shall we move on to the note? Okay. I will read out the note, then you can write this note, okay? Banks sometimes allow customers to issue checks for amounts greater than the balances in their current accounts. This facility is known as bank overdraft. When business issues checks that exceed its available bank balance, the credit side of the bank account will surplus the debit side. The resulting in a credit balance. This credit balance, referred to as bank overdraft, is considered a liability of the business. When checks are issued beyond the existing balance and the bank pays these payments, the account holder effectively becomes a debtor to the bank. This indebtedness is known as the bank overdraft. So you can start writing this note and complete this note. So with this, we can wrap up the class, start writing the note. So if Lithuania having a class after this, you can quickly write this and sign off, no issues. I will end with this, today's lesson. So you can quickly write this.